All right, we're going to get into a topic that's, pretty heavy, but it's something we really need to think about. We're going to explore what a modern global conflict could look like. A fire that, if it ever starts, might just be impossible for anyone to escape. Okay, let's get into it. So, right off the bat, this is the single most important idea to wrap your head around. If a World War III happens, it's not a war of borders, it's a war of survival. That one sentence, it changes everything about how we have to look at this. So what does a war without borders really even mean? Well, it means you can pretty much take all the old maps, all the old rulebooks from past wars, and just toss them out the window. This is a whole different ballgame. And here's the key difference. See, in the past, big wars were usually fought over something tangible, right? Territory, resources, lines on a map. They were wars of borders. But a potential World War III, the goal completely shifts. It's not about gaining something anymore. It's just about surviving. And this is a really crucial point. In this kind of war, the idea of being neutral, it's basically an illusion. It doesn't matter how far away you are. It doesn't matter how powerful your economy is. Our world is so connected now that everyone, and I mean everyone, would get dragged into the chaos. So that brings us to the next question. If everyone is involved, where is this war actually being fought? Well, the battlefield isn't what you think it is. The front lines aren't in some distant trench anymore. They're everywhere. And here's a look at the arsenal for this new battlefield. First, you've got the one we all know and fear. Nuclear weapons. Just unimaginable destruction. Then you've got the invisible weapons, cyber attacks, that could shut down a country's power grid, its banks, its communications, all without firing a single bullet. And finally, economic collapse, weaponizing money itself to just shatter a society from the inside. And think about the speed of all this. We're not talking about wars that drag on for months or years to see results. We're talking about minutes. The ability to destroy things on a massive scale is faster than anything we've ever seen. A city, a life, your entire future. It could all be gone or changed forever in the blink of an eye. So how does it even get to that point? How does one little spark in some corner of the world turn into a blaze that just consumes the entire planet? Well, it's a chain reaction, and it's terrifyingly predictable. You can see the dominoes lined up right here. It all starts small, a crisis in one region, but then, because of this massive tangled web of alliances and treaties, other countries are forced to pick sides and jump in. Suddenly, the conflict explodes, it spreads across continents, and before you know it, it's a full-blown global catastrophe. There's just no firebreak to stop it. Okay, so we've talked about the big picture strategy, the weapons, the politics, but let's zoom in a bit, because the real story of a war like this isn't about armies or nations. It's about people, ordinary people. And this quote it says it all, doesn't it? This is the heart of the matter. Forget the geopolitical chess match. The real cost, the true price of all this, is measured in human suffering. The people who had zero say in any of it are the ones who pay the most. So what does that suffering actually look like day to day? Well, this gives you a small idea. It's the complete breakdown of everything we take for granted. Supply chains fall apart, so there are massive food shortages. Fear is just everywhere, all the time. The basic stability that holds society together, it just evaporates. This is what a war of survival would actually feel like for us. So when you put it all together, the nature of this conflict, the weapons, the human cost, you're left with a really sobering and honestly an unavoidable conclusion about what the outcome would be. And that's really the bottom line. The very idea of winning a war like this becomes totally meaningless. I mean, when the results are things like global famine, collapsed societies, and the deaths of millions, maybe billions, how can anybody claim victory? There's no winning. There's only a collective, catastrophic loss for all of us. And that's where we're left. The whole question we've asked about wars in the past just gets turned on its head. It's not about who will win. It's not about power or who will come out on top. The only question that matters is, can the world itself actually survive?